Yo, this is the dealer himself, I-20, chilling with my homeboy Mikey T, the movie star. You are now live on Report Card Radio.
I-20, man, I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me tonight on Report Card Radio for this exclusive interview, man.
Thank you, brother.
So, everyone knows you as an original member of the Disturbing the Peace. Where are you actually from, and how did you become associated with the label?
I'm from Decatur, Georgia, born and raised. I met Ludacris through a mutual friend. That would have been 98. I met a friend of mine who knew that I rhymed and knew that he rhymed, figured that we needed to meet each other and just put us on the phone. Back in the day when people used to talk on the phone three-way, she just put us on the phone one day for us to meet, and we just connected from there.
That's what's up, man. So you're from the deck, as you said. Tell me a little bit about Decatur, man, for someone who doesn't really know about it, but has heard a lot about it from the likes of Gucci Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Zone 6. It's on the east side of Atlanta. It to me, it's really reflective of Atlanta in the sense that there's one side of it that's going to be more urban, that's going to be more hood, but then they've gentrified a lot of it, like in the downtown area where it's more upscale. It's going to be coffee shops and so forth. But I mean, it's like any normal city in United States of America, in my opinion, and it's home for me.
So, how did you actually were speaking about how you met Ludacris, but taking me into it when you guys actually met, what was that like?
It was cool. I had never really met anybody who had the same passion for hip hop like he did, at least at that time. So it was really cool to meet somebody who was really into the lyricism aspect, knew a lot about the artists that they liked, knew a lot about their mission or their desire to contribute to hip hop. So we had a lot of good conversations, a lot of good freestyle sessions.
Okay, so what was it like back in 1999, back in 1998 when you two were hustling in Atlanta on the indie tip?
That came a little bit later. At first, I was in a different group, and he and I were just cool, and we had a mutual respect for each other as rappers. But the group that I was in, most of the members that were in it were really, really involved, kind of in the streets, and they uh, they kind of got caught up in a lot of different ways, and the group just kind of dissipated. And Luda really snatched me up. He really saw that I was really invested in the idea of furthering my career, and it started the same way as anybody else. Me, him, and Fate were trying to get deals. We were recording demos, but we just couldn't get anybody to pick us up. So what we ended up doing after we couldn't really get anybody to give us a deal was to just decide that we were going to put an album out individually, just put it out ourselves. And the mentality was simply, if we can get our money back, we can put more into demos. We never had it in our mind for it to be a huge success. We just wanted to kind of make our money back to keep putting demos out to get signed. And then it ultimately did really, really well. It sold 50,000 copies. And it went from trying to get a deal to deciding what deal we wanted.
So are you talking about the fact that you were featured on Ludacris's first two albums?
Yeah, I've been on almost only two albums I ain't been on. Chris's is like two. I only haven't been on two albums, but yeah, I was on the very first one, the Back for the First Time, where the album cover is just a picture that a guy drew when he went on vacation in Cuba with his mother. So yeah, I've been with him for a long time.
So tell me about Luda, snatching you up, as you said, and then putting you on those two albums.
Yeah, it was that was kind of my official getting in Disturbing the Peace. He was looking to kind of build a roster. He always had a vision to kind of have more than just himself be represented. And that's one of the things that really drew me to him, is that he had such a good sense of business and a good sense of direction. And so when we started recording the album, he really wanted to have other artists featured on it. So that's why me and Fade are, all over that first album.
So if anybody wants to look it up, those records are actually First and 10 as well as Catch Up.
Yeah, but those are also on his debut album from Def Jam. We just recycled a lot of those records, to be honest with you.
Yeah, any memory of why that was done? I mean, I've heard a couple other stories like that back in those years of labels using mixed or mixtape like tracks and actually putting them on the official release.
I think that Def Jam just was like, this is already a smash. Why mess with it? What you really need is a bigger vehicle, not to reinvent the wheel. So that's kind of what I got from it.
Yeah, true. 20. You know, you said that you went on to appear on a number of Ludacris's albums after being on those first two. So what was it that made you and Luda's relationship so strong?
A mutual respect, just a mutual respect for each other's talents and each other's artistry. And when we were, Chris and Faith lived together for like 3 or 4 years. So we really built a good bond and really built a good dynamic and a good creative space amongst the three of us during that time, really laying the groundwork for what Disturbing the Peace would be.
So before we get into how, you know, Disturbing the Peace expanded and went over to Def Jam, I want to speak about when Ludacris added Shayna to the mix. What do you most remember about that?
He didn't. Shaka did. Shaka is, one of the COOs of Disturbing the Peace. He had heard of her. We had all heard of her. She was in a group called Infamous Syndicate that actually had come out, I think, in the mid to late 90s. And Shaka just felt like she was a talented artist who didn't get her due. And he was looking to find a vehicle for her. And he thought to put her as almost like an answer on What's Your Fantasy. And that's when we shot the video for What's Your Fantasy, that was the first time we all met her. We had never met her before that.
Could you take me into that, man, when you guys first met Shayna and how she started working out with y'all?
Yeah, it was instant chemistry. From the time that we got on the video set and we got to link up with her and we got to talk with her and saw how passionate she was about music and how passionate she was about being a good MC. It was instant chemistry. She was meant to be in the clip.